Hi, my name is Heron, and I have a quick question for you today. Do you ever feel just a tiny little bit angry about things happening in the world lately? Let's talk about that. Anger is a very volatile emotion. We often associate anger with bad things like wars and violence and abuse, and because of that, I think anger gets a bad reputation. But like all human emotions, anger is not inherently bad. Anger can be a very powerful tool used for good things. It can be used to protect the people we love. It can be used to allow us to flee situations which are dangerous. So, in that sense, anger can be a very powerful weapon for good. The challenge is knowing how to harness that anger and prevent other people from taking advantage of it. Anger is not cruelty, it is simply a justification that is often used to be cruel. And I think this is a common misconception that people really need to understand, that anger often comes from a place of empathy and compassion. If you didn't care about the world being harmed, why would it make you angry? If you didn't love yourself, why would you be angry about people mistreating you? If you didn't love others, why would them being mistreated lead you to anger? Studies have actually found that people with more empathy tend to be more angry and therefore can be led toward more vindictive violence than those without empathy. This misunderstanding leads us to a divide between what we personally consider justified and unjust anger. We believe that when we feel angry, it is just because it is coming from a place of wanting to do good and wanting to protect people. But that when people outside of our group use their anger to justify hatred toward us, we believe that is coming from a place of unjust judgment and cruelty and a desire to harm others. Often the people who commit the most horrific atrocities are doing so not out of a place of malicious anger, but out of a place of empathy. They have heard stories or witnessed people being harmed by a certain group and believe that the only option they have is to protect that one group by harming another. This is why propaganda is most effective when it appeals to our sense of empathy. Leaders who are trying to manipulate people show them stories of innocent children and civilians being harmed by a certain group. It is easy to see how, in an effort to protect the people you love, you could be pushed to think that retaliatory or even preemptive violence is the only way to protect them. This is how politicians manipulate people into starting wars with other groups. It is how religious leaders use peaceful religions to justify violence. It is how charismatic leaders manipulate the public's empathy against them and turn it into anger and rage. They then misdirect that anger not at the people or systems causing the problem, but at another group entirely. I want to reiterate something which is very important that I feel like a lot of you do not want to hear right now. Your empathy does not make you immune to cruelty. It makes you more susceptible. The very things, the very attributes that you believe make you a good person, make you easier to use. This is a difficult thing to hear and to sit with because we love to believe that our enemies are evil and we are good and righteous. We need to believe that lie because it simplifies everything. It feels so good and so easy, but it's not true. I am not immune to this. It is so difficult for me to look into the face of people who are targeting and attacking me and my community and my neighbors, to look into their eyes and see a human being. It is so difficult for me to believe that their anger, their violence is coming from a misguided place of empathy. But I have to understand that. I have to sit with this uncomfortable feeling because it's the only way to break the cycle. Understanding the anger of the people who harm me is not going to make them stop harming me, but it will prevent me from becoming like them and harming others. This is an important misconception about anger, too. You can't control other people's emotions and actions. There is no amount of therapy or self-awareness that will prevent other people from hurting you. The only thing you can control is how you behave toward others. The antidote to misguided anger is not love or tolerance, it's patience. Learning how to take a moment, pause, breathe, acknowledge the anger you feel, and make a conscious decision for how to react. If somebody hits you and you hit them back, will it benefit you? Will it suit your goals to hit them back? If you're in a boxing match, sure. I don't know what your situation is. But the point being, if you're not making a choice that suits your own goals, you're being manipulated by somebody else into doing what they want you to do. You're being manipulated through your anger into a reaction. Your anger then puts a target on your back to be manipulated by various groups who have their own goals in mind for you. But not reacting is easier said than done. You're not a saint. You don't have 20 years to meditate on a rock and learn infinite patience. How can we defend ourselves from being manipulated, goaded into using our anger toward other people's destructive purposes? In my opinion, I think the best way to handle this is to create your own goals and use your own anger toward those goals. Think about what you actually want. Think about your goals and how to achieve them. And then use that anger, use that passion, that momentum inside of you to achieve those goals. If your anger comes from a place of being worried about a specific community, then reach out to that community. Ask them how you can help. Reach out to organizations that work with them and see if you can volunteer. If your anger comes from fear of somebody hurting you, attacking you, then reach out to your own community. Reach out to your loved ones. Get the support that you need to feel more secure. Because if you let your anger be used to isolate you, to make you afraid of the world, to make you feel like everybody is out to get you, that makes you more susceptible to being manipulated. Your anger is not a negative quality. Your anger is a weapon. Your anger is your power, and it can be used to do so much good. Don't let people manipulate your anger into doing what they want. Use that power for your own life to build up your own community. Use it to accomplish your goals, not the goals of somebody else.